I'm going right to restart.
Oh, I like that the MK hype has already started. It's good netcode confirmed with a K. Guys, huge fanfare.
Good to see you again.
Here he is, the man, the legend himself. Guys, give it up. We're being joined by Ed Boon. Do you want to go ahead and... you are not muted
You are not
anymore.
muted now. The masses can now hear you, and that's your camera right there. And then they've got the gameplay there, and we got chat all over the place. And
this is an amazing setup.
And you have perfect...
For people who haven't been here, oh my God. This is awesome. This is awesome setup.
Yeah.
It's made infinitely more awesome by you joining us, especially with a day early release of MKX.
Yes.
We're so excited for the new Mortal Kombat.
Oh, look at that.
We've been seeing the gameplay. It looks phenomenal. The backgrounds, the interactables, the stance switching. This game is going to blow people away, and I cannot wait to see what the EGP crew is going to be doing with it. They've got hands-on, so we're getting to see some great gameplay going on.
Yeah, we saw a little glimpse of it at the Fatal 8 thing. You know, I was telling everybody how freaked out I am because with 2 days of gameplay, these guys have done stuff that, you know, we didn't even think of.
Yeah.
So I mean, give them a few months, give them a year. It's gonna be a crazy couple of years, that's for sure.
And we're actually being joined with Perfect Legend as well, who is one of the
Carl
players who
very well.
was able
I know
to
Carl
join.
very well, yeah.
And he said that even in the 2 days that he had to play, since then he's been able to almost double his Liu Kang combos.
Yeah. Like,
So-
cause, all right.
Liu Kang or Kung Lao?
Kung Lao.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kung Lao.
Okay.
Because I was like, man, he doesn't do any damage. I feel like I'm taking all these risks, right? Within 5 minutes of me saying that, I found like 40% combos, like 35% combos. I'm like, okay, well, I spoke too soon.
Yeah,
And it happened right before I went to sleep. I was like 5 minutes like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And I was like, let me just do this. And I just figured it out.
Actually, why don't you sit right here, because we can get you on camera, because all we see is your hand on the mic. So if you sit right here...
That's all you need to see is my hand.
Yeah.
We can squish.
Get you right here.
All right.
There we go.
Get all up in here.
Yeah.
Just cuddle. Psych. But yeah, I found so much stuff, and then I was moving on to like Raiden, and of course Scorpion. Scorpion is so good. I'm glad that he's good in this game, because I want to play him. There's some matchups that I might need to play him, but then again, like I think I can play all the matchups with Kung Lao.
Yeah.
Because
You still bust off? You still bust off?
Yeah, bust off. But I'm working on a hat trick and Tempest. Hat trick's a little more difficult to set things up. It's very setup oriented. Tempest seems like it's kind of a jack of all trades. I can just pull on a hat and just run it at someone and do combos. But Buzzsaw is very, MK9-esque, because I can just play the same style, actually. So that's why I felt at home with it. That's why I went with that for the Fatal 8, but I'm trying to make sure I can have all of them down, because I really don't want to pick another character. I just want to play Kung Lao.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of people in the chat are asking what the future of the downloadable content is for the game. Can you share anything with anyone right now?
Well, we've announced the 4 characters. Tanya Tremor from Mortal Kombat, and then Jason from Friday the 13th, and Predator from Predator.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time we've ever done something like that. We've always, with every game, released them and announced them one at a time, so leaving a bit of a mystery. But this time around, we decided to just kind of lay the whole thing out and let everybody kind of speculate on how the different characters are going to play and stuff. So that's been a lot of fun.
So they're asking too, Ed, will there be any? Dang, I missed the question. Let me get it over here and read it
asking
real quick
about
because
an
it's going by so
MKX
fast. Ed, will there
art
be any MKX art books coming out in the future? Because people like the art.
Not that I'm aware of, but it's certainly not out of the question. I mean, we're like I said, we're still planning some stuff out and whatnot, but it's certainly not out of the question.
Well,
it's not as I forgot when we released the art book for MK9. What part of the?
I'm sure someone in chat will tell us any moment now. So. But by the way, I know for a fact that if you do release an art book, one person's going to buy it, because he's been asking that question the entire like for 2 hours before he got here. He's asking, "Is there going to be an MK art book?" Yeah. I think it might be you that's asking it, Epic Beard Guy.
Yeah. Some of the other questions that have been coming through a lot of times are regarding the crypt and regarding conquest mode.
Yeah. Well, there is no conquest mode. The conquest mode was kind of like what our story mode was back in the PS2 era, and then since then we've kind of adopted the more kind of cinematic, play a movie, transition in and out. But there is a crypt. The crypt is, it's one of those things that we just haven't really hit on. I think we might be showing some stuff on one of our future streams or something. But it's awesome. It's there's interaction in it. There's monsters that jump out that you have to kind of react to and whatnot. And there's also timed stuff that just appears at a certain, when the timer reaches a certain time at a certain point in the environment, which is something that we had in Conquest mode. So we're hoping that, that kind of stuff, people, with the internet, everybody, it'll be all listed out in a matter of hours from now.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to just catch up on some of these questions here. Someone's asking about the character Rain. I'm assuming it's rain and not necessarily the condition of the droughts in California right now. Do you want to talk about Rain?
Yeah, Rain is a character that, when you play our story mode, you're going to notice we have a bunch of what we're calling cameos, where a character will appear, but it isn't a fightable character. So you run into Rain, I don't want to spoil the...
don't spoil the story.
But a lot of people have seen him in the game and wondered if he's going to be a playable character. And he's not part of the combat pack, I guess that's all I can say at this point.
Okay, that's fine. There's your question right there. So I'm going to take your mic here for a second, Mr. Because we got a bunch of professional players over here, guys. We got Ed Boon here.
Have they gotten their hands on the game yet? Have you guys played it yet?
Is there anyone over there that wants to ask a question? Raise your hand, because I want to come over here and give you guys a chance to talk to Ed. Who has a question? Anyone? Oh, don't leave me hanging. Daryl has a question. What? Don't be shy. We got the creator of Mortal Kombat here.
Ed Rolandi, Durleth, pleasure to meet you. Question for you. So, with a lot of the new games nowadays, you see a lot of people always asking about patching and buff this, nerf this.
Yeah.
You're hearing a lot of it. How often do you guys expect to be patching the game? Is it going to be like a once every 2 months type deal, 3 months, or is it going to be an as you see fit type deal?
It'll for the most part, I think it's going to be with the release of each DLC character.
Okay.
So like. I don't have the calendar with me, but let's say we release them every 3 or 4 weeks or something like that.
Okay.
Each one will come with whatever fixes that we might find. I mean, like when you guys get your hands on it, somebody, hopefully they don't find many like infinites or something that's completely broken or whatnot. But if there's anything that needs addressing, each patch will contain not only the character, the free skins that come with it, but also any fixes that might be there.
Now, with these patch notes that you're going to be releasing, will the patch notes that come, will they be coming before the release is out? Like, how much time are the players going to have to study these notes before the patches are fully implemented?
I forgot how much time we gave it in the last games. Do you remember, Carl? Like how much before? Beforehand or with the patch?
It was like a day before.
With the patch, yeah. So probably comparable to how we've done it before. Either the day before or the day of or something like that. So.
Jace just joined the group over here.
I'm jumping in.
Jace Hall,
I'm joining. I may have met Ed before in the past.
Yes, we've met
because
before.
I'm old and crusty. So I may have bumped into him.
As am I.
I want to hit some of the chat that's flying by in the text, but one of the questions I want to ask, are you tired? Are you excited? How are you feeling today? With
I was telling some people that this is the first time in 2 years about like working on this game that I didn't that I personally don't have an immediate we've got to do this for the game. We got to do this to make it this much better. And when that happens, you're just kind of stuck. So like, okay, well, what do we do? And at this point, it's kind of like the game is the game. People are getting their hands on it. I just saw some really good reviews of it and stuff. So we're pretty psyched about that. But I have this weird anxiety of I don't know what to do with myself. So it's an odd thing, and so I guess we're gonna settle in on it. So.
Well, look, we appreciate you swinging by our little hangout.
This place is, like I said, you got to give me the tour. But this is like, we got the Twitch stream scrolling over the. I don't know if you've shown your audience here.
It's all secrets.
Scrolling over it, and on this. This is the most like high tech place I've ever seen related to games. It's just awesome.
Well, we do like every Friday here, sort of a big fighting thing where all the top players come down. We call it FGC Live, right? And they play, and Mortal Kombat is huge on the list. Obviously, it's going to be Mortal Kombat Friday for quite a while.
Yeah, I love it. This is just fantastic.
Everybody is asking about the net code. Everybody's asking about all that stuff, and I'll let you comment on it. But generally, in my experience making games, that's just something that you get as right as you possibly can, and then as you move forward, you continually try to improve it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's weird. The volume of stuff that we're showing, even before the game's officially out, has been completely overwhelming. You know, like the number of players, and you know, we have the mobile game too, and they're kind of cross-connected and stuff. So that's adding a lot of stuff. But we're going to be on top of and watching, you know, and refining until we get it right. Because you know, that's such a big part of fighting games now is online play,
right.
And so we got to keep you know, keep on it until it's right. And so I think tomorrow you're going to see this swarm of you know, when everybody's getting the game, you know, the things got like, you know, it's over doubled the pre-orders of MK9 as far as stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty insane. And so we're kind of bracing ourselves and getting ready for, you know, the swarm of.
I got a question over here from some of our pro players. West Coast Jeff has a question for you.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So the combat pack coming out, is there going to be a second one after this one?
I guess we haven't ruled out or announced anything. I wish we could, but
secrets.
Yeah, there's nothing.
The answer is secrets.
Yeah. Maybe some rain or something.
Look at them digging. They're digging.
Well, guys, despite all digging, the game fuels off you guys. So the more players who buy the game, the more people who are enthusiastic for it, the more they can do with it. So if you guys want to see more, go out and buy the game tomorrow.
Yeah. All anybody has to do is tweet me once, and then we'll do it.
You're going to get a lot of tweets today.
Every day.
That's it.
Hey, Ed, one more question from our players. We got Wonder Chef here. What's your question,
Wonder Chef?
Actually, I know him.
Hi.
How's it going, man?
Ed, so, in your opinion, what's the one thing that's like new in MKX that you enjoy the most? Like the new feature or character, or just anything?
Easily to me is the character variations. You know, I mean, I really want to, you know, especially with you guys, you know, see what you do with these, how you change it up. You know, we saw a glimpse of it in they were playing against you actually when he switched. Yeah, MIT when he switched to Inferno Scorpion, and it made a difference. You know, and so I can't wait to see what you guys do. To me, it's kind of like, you know, we've made this palette of stuff. You know, we built a piano, and now, you know, you guys, the maestros, are kind of like, going to make the music, and let's see what kind of compositions they come up with over the next, hopefully, you know, several years.
Look, one thing I want to say, how long have you been involved with Mortal Kombat?
Since November of '91 was the first game that we started. The first.
I'm bringing this up just for all the noobs that are watching, because a lot of people don't understand. So you have been through all of the ups and the downs of the entire franchise.
Yeah, I wasn't involved in a couple of the games, but the fighting games, I was involved with all of those. So yes, so the whole roller coaster ride.
Yeah, because I'm again, as I mentioned, I'm as old as time, and so I have a pretty expansive view on the Mortal Kombat franchise. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because anybody who sits there in the chat talking about, they're not going to pay attention to me or the netcode, or they're trying to put a product out there that they don't care about. It's just not true. This man, he cares very deeply about this product. He has put way more blood, sweat, and tears into this than he's even allowed to admit, because he'll sound, but I can say it for him because I'm aware of it. So I just want everybody to know who's participating in the Mortal Kombat sort of universe that this is one of those true occasions where you have this product which goes back to the beginning of serious fighting games, and you have the person, one of the people who have really driven this into success, and he's still sitting here super passionate, super excited about it. And so it's great to see, just like I'm looking at this bunch of top players here, how excited they are about it. And those of you who are watching on Twitch and seeing in the chat, to me as an old crusty gamer, this whole scene right now is just amazing. So I just want to say for Ed, first of all, thank you. Two, I vouch for how serious he is. He's not up here as some kind of marketing person. He's not chilling. He cares deeply about getting this right, and the team is going to continue to work to keep making it better and better and better. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're like I said, it's the you guys are the ones who keep the game alive, keep the the passion for it, all the streams and the instructional videos. I'm always amazed at people making instructional videos on how to play this game, and they're finding things that like I said, we build a piano and somebody
so you've actually seen something where you see a player do something
and we go, oh, you can do that.
Whoa!
Yeah, exactly. So that's the most exciting part about the whole thing.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect Legend.
Perfect Legend.
My God.
Sorry, I just watched that movie last night.
So in the text chat, let me look. It's flying by pretty quick.
People are asking, Cold War Scorpion, is it going to be available outside of the collector's edition?
Oh man, I don't know what the position is. Tyler, do you know what the? Have we made a decision on Cold War Scorpion outside of the collectors? No. Okay. Yeah. Not as far as I know right now. I don't think we've announced anything. No.
Well, it looks like hundreds of your fans are very excited for it. So if their vote counts for anything.
I got a question from the chat for you, Ed. Someone was asking, Kari Sphere was asking what your favorite fatality was.
Of all of them, or of this game?
Well, this game. Let's just say this game for now.
Of this game, probably the one where Quan Chi makes the guy walk into the sword, and then it goes in his mouth, and then he lifts him up. That one, and that wasn't mine. That wasn't mine, but it is my favorite. Which ones
did you dream up?
I did the first one where Scorpion cuts his blows a hole through his chest, the heart comes out, and then he cuts his face off. That was like oddly enough, as it sounds kind of weird, but that was a tech exercise, because our tech guys, they gave us the ability to, they said we can blow holes in people, we can slice anybody at any point. So I said, okay, let's give it an exercise. Let's slice off somebody's face. Let's blow a hole through their chest. Let's let the, so believe it or not, it was a tech exercise that ended up looking pretty cool.
Yeah, of course you asked for the one thing that brought them all together, and
exactly.
And they're like, oh, that's
one
great.
Example, exactly.
One or the other.
Yeah.
We have a question here also from Nick Aragon.
Hey, how's it going, Ed? I work here as well. Chat was asking, and I'm also a huge wrestling fan and play WWE Immortals. And Chat was asking if the reverse was going to happen, WWE Immortals, is that going to have a step up into the console world?
I've seen emails where that was asked, but we don't currently have a plan for it. But I've definitely been on email chains where that was discussed. But
so the thought is bouncing around.
Yeah, in the ether.
Universe.
Yeah, exactly, in the ether.
Maybe The Rock could be DLC in Mortal Kombat. That's possible.
Yeah, you know the problem with the challenges with some of those things is when you get somebody famous, you got to tell them your face is going to be sliced off, your head's going to be ripped in half. Are you still in? And then we're like, hello.
See, and that's why I agreed to let them put me in Mortal Kombat X as a downloadable character.
I wasn't aware of that.
That would have been great. I'm like the Dan character. I have no powers. I just die.
We got another player over here. CDA just has a question for you, Ed.
Hey, Ed. You mentioned that your favorite feature in the game is the variation mechanic.
Yes.
What inspired you to add that mechanic to Mortal Kombat for the first time?
You know what? That whole game feature evolved from a much smaller subset at first. I don't know if you guys are aware. In one of the Street Fighters, in Alpha, there was this thing called this ism where you pick, right, and you would you'd effectively like pick a move or pick an extra thing like that, and So the original idea was to do something like that, but then we just kept kind of building on it and saying, okay, let's do something that's, a little deeper than that, more than one move, and then a strategy, and then that at some point became a different version of the character. So over the course of maybe 6 months or something from the original idea until now, that's, and everybody, kind of added their 2 cents to it. Yeah.
I got a question about esports in general. As you know, a lot of the perception of esports revolves around team-based, MOBA type games.
Yeah.
But in reality, esports is just sort of organized electronic gaming around titles and achievements.
Sure.
Now, you've been making a game for a very long period of time that clearly is suited for tournaments, and it's for what we at Twin Galaxies would call, in esports title. Yeah. Do you encourage that kind of activity? Do you want to see more of that around Mortal Kombat? Are there things in the future, if we were able to get more organized around Mortal Kombat as that kind of a platform? Are there things that your company might be interested in doing to help support that? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on a number of levels. One is, obviously there's numerous tournaments throughout the year. The EVOs, the CEOs, and all the tournaments throughout that a lot of people kind of fly to, but then we're hooked up with the ESL, and we're going to have this online league it's going to have events also that everybody kind of gathers. So we're going to push hard to do that, and I think anybody doing something that's like organized like that, we want a part of it. We want to contribute. We want to contribute to the pot. We want to contribute to the promotion of them, and also to players. We love seeing stars. Like Michael Jordan's of video games.
Which,
and stuff
which
like
to
that,
me is like the big thing is the players get the players some exposure,
much deserved.
Because the stuff the work that they're putting into the game. Those hours and all that other stuff, it's really amazing to see what they can do. And I think, at least as Twin Galaxies, as far as Twin Galaxies is concerned, and certainly the developers and the publishers, the more we're able to quantify to the average person who doesn't understand fighting games, but they can at least understand that this person has achieved something in there.
Exactly.
I think the bigger we can make those players.
I always bring I associate it with I play like pickup basketball with friends. And you're never going to be as good as Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, whatever like this. But it makes watching basketball games that much more fun. And I think it's the exact same thing. People who are just okay at Mortal Kombat would really love to see broadcasts, and they got commentators, they got all this stuff going like that. So to me, I feel like we haven't even hit. If you see a ceiling of like filling the convention center with League of Legends people,
right?
That's big. So
right.
I think there's so much room to grow, and I think that's where we got to be going. So.
Now, guys, bringing in a question that's been repeated hundreds and hundreds of times. They're asking about
the art book.
The art book we've already brought up, but they're actually asking about the Android release.
The Android release. There is going to be no Android. No, I'm just kidding. There is going to be an Android release. Unfortunately, part of like what you were talking about before. Making these games with this game and the last gen versions, the Android version, in an ideal world, we would absolutely choose to have everything come out on the same day.
Yeah, of course.
Be, play identically, and have, but, unfortunately there's just limitations. So, for instance, for this game, the guys doing the last gen versions have to wait for us to be done to do their version or to finish their version, and so there's unfortunate realities of production that prevent that stuff. And the same with the Android version of the game. In house we're working on the iOS version,
right?
And now that that's done, the guys they're this close to having the Android version done. It's literally days away.
Right.
So I guess like you were saying before, it's patience. It's not like we're just choosing to hold off on them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, as far as you're concerned, everything needs to hurry up, right? You're going literally as fast as you can.
Yeah. If we had our choice, we would have everything come out on the same day, every single version. So.
General Khan from chat is asking if Rock is going to be a playable character.
Well, he currently is not, and unfortunately, kind of like the whole rain question and all that. So there's nothing.
Secrets.
I can really say. Yeah.
The response is secrets.
I'm going to go to Wonder Chef one more time because Wonder Chef has another question. He's one of our pro gamers over here in our lounge.
All right, so first of all, I have to say it's so cool that the backwards compatibility from PS4 to PS3 arcade sticks.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Everybody loves that. It's super cool. But I was just curious, did you guys work with or talk to the Skullgirls team about anything else aside from that, or even just associate with them?
You mean like doing that with another system or something?
Oh no,
like
I just
that,
mean
or?
like did you guys? Was your contact with them limited to just that, or did you guys talk about anything else?
Well, I guess without getting too technical, is somebody wrote a driver, and that's software basically that lets the PS4 use the PS3 sticks, and they gave us access to that driver, and we were like, hooray, we'll put it in, you know. So and there are other details, legal details, etc., like that are just outside of our control. But you know, again, just like the other thing, in a perfect world, we would love to have every arcade controller work in every console system, but some of the stuff is just out of our control. So.
Now, something that I heard about the first time today was actually the Blue Steel skin.
Yes, yes.
Now, apparently that helps support the esports community as well. So
that's exactly true.
Did I catch that right?
Yeah. You know, again, to your question before about, you know, our interest in esports and the proceeds from the Blue Steel Sub-Zero go towards pots for all the various tournaments that are going to be played around like that. Exactly. So it's like, you know, I hope we get $1 million to give out. You know, I mean, I'd love it if you know, as much money, so everybody buying the Blue Steel Sub-Zero is going to be contributing directly to the pots of these.
Well, definitely then get that. You know, one of Twin Galaxies' goals is to help create an environment that allows players to make money, get endorsements, be recognized, and support these kinds of efforts. Absolutely. Just overall, because in my view, a sport is a sport, right? Exactly. This is a game, you're playing a game, basketball's a game, you're playing a game. Why is there some gigantic differential between how the players are viewed or what they're able to accomplish in society economically? A lot of that just revolves around the fact that there hasn't been many organizations focused on elevating the player. And certainly I know that developers are interested in having players be elevated, right? So I think that's great that you guys did that.
And that's you know, I think I don't even think we're even done. I just think these are kind of like just our entry points to doing it. You know, again, if we had unlimited resources, we'd do another skin and put all those proceeds towards it, and another skin after that, you know, just indefinitely. And you know, who knows?
If you had unlimited resources, would you guys make like a baby-fied version of Mortal Kombat where they all have this big heads and these like tiny little bodies and it looks all cutesy?
With unlimited resources?
Would you let it happen?
You know what?
I always thought babalities were funny.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I wouldn't want like some kid to like really get into it and go, oh, what's this Mortal Kombat about? And then a young kid's going to play. Cause we don't want we don't want a little kid playing the game. But if that was the only exposure they had to Mortal Kombat, that'd be a riot. That'd be a riot.
Well, it seems like the methods of exposure for Mortal Kombat are now increasing. I've actually been reading the series that you guys teamed up with DC Comics for the Mortal Kombat digital series.
Yeah.
It's now gone to print as well, so you guys are telling the backstory between MK9 and MKX.
Exactly.
So we're getting more people from different mediums involved with the game, too. Is this a good jumping on point for somebody who's never played the series before with the brand new release coming out tomorrow?
Yeah, and you know, it's actually not something, it's not something we've done for the first time. Injustice had a comic book.
Year 3 is currently
running,
and you're moving into
and
year
it's still
4
going.
now.
And so we really love the idea because there's a 25-year gap. We're just basically answering the question, what happened in those 25 years? And then that kind of leads you up to the game. And it's also a great introduction to our new characters. You know, Kotal Khan, Fertor, you know, Devora, everybody like that. And so, you know, it's all, you know, between the comic book and the mobile game and the console game and all these tournaments that we're just hoping we can really keep this bus going.
You know what's interesting is, now Mortal Kombat is the reason the ESRB came into being, right? Right?
That and
but most people, a lot of people don't know that, right?
Yeah,
like Mortal Kombat came out, there was no games rating system.
Yeah.
And then so the ESRB sort of comes into existence, right? And Mortal Kombat was the violent game.
Yeah.
Now, you fast forward to today where Mortal Kombat is still violent, right? But yet, the way people perceive it is not the same way as they perceived it back in the day. Whereas you have things more like Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto pulling the negative attention for violence. Mortal Kombat has seemed to have found a psychological place.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like they go, and of course Mortal Kombat's Mortal Kombat, but let's talk about this Grand Theft Auto game.
I wonder like what that is. Is it just that we've just basically as a society said, you know what, Mortal Kombat is not, it's fun. It's a fun thing, and you know, it's like some Hollywood action movie, and so we're okay, we know where to put that in our minds. But then when they want to criticize Grand Theft Auto or something, they don't have a place in their mind for it yet. You think that's what it is?
Yeah, this is a really bad analogy, but I always say that people get the joke.
Right.
You know, with Mortal Kombat, they get it. It's like, you know, it's so over the top, it's so extreme. You know, and especially this game, like you almost can't take it seriously.
Right.
You know, and we also have a weird kind of tongue-in-cheek presentation. You know, things are so over the top and so kind of crazy.
It does have like some comedic.
Yeah, it's campy and stuff like that.
Like tone when you see it, was just so
Exactly, and so I think that's exactly it. People just kind of put it in the niche, and it's been around for 20 years, and you know you can't nobody can write a story saying, you know, this new violent video game called Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's
everybody's
true.
like, really?
Yeah, they're like,
really?
Isn't that like the definition? Like,
yeah. So.
I noticed that, you know, the graphics are improved over the last one. I noticed that the characters feel and look a little more meaty.
Yeah.
You know, there's more chunk of there's more chunk technology going on in there.
A little older too. Yeah.
Yeah, everything looks a little. You know, I haven't had a chance yet to sit down and play. Now, by the way, we got here. These pro guys somehow look. I mean, you're watching them play. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's just today. How do they know what they're doing? I don't even understand that.
I don't count.
I mean,
well, I have a couple questions over here from them. Let's go to Jeff Katz real quick. He has a question for you, Ed.
Hey. Hey, Ed.
Hey, how are you?
Just a quick question about the iOS version of the game, because I've been playing it here and there before release.
Okay.
So I was wondering, do all the coins that you make in the game transfer over to the main game?
There's not a direct transfer of them, but you can contribute. At some point, we're going to activate the factions in the iOS game, and so you can actually contribute to your faction on your iOS game and on your console game. So that's part of the whole big meta game of the 5 different factions.
Actually, mentioning, because I noticed that the faction ladders weren't available yet. Do you know when about?
My understanding, it's like any day now, because we always wanted to kind of have it activate them to coincide with the console launch game.
Okay.
Actually, that brings in another question from the chat. 8-foot-tall Aardvark was asking, what's to stop everybody from joining the Lin Kuei?
What's to stop everybody? Technically nothing, but I don't think everybody's going to join the Lin Kuei.
Okay. The other question that I keep seeing, mid-Muslim, again, guys, we're trying to bring in all the questions from the chat. They're scrolling by really fast. There's so many people here who are excited for MKX. We're excited to have you guys with us. It's difficult to bring in questions, but mid-Muslim continually asks, what's the future for Liu Kang after MKX? Or if you don't want to spoil anything, do you have any personal thoughts on Liu Kang?
Well, there are certainly a lot that happens in the story mode, and it involves Liu Kang. And so, as some people know, in MK9, he Raiden accidentally killed him, and and so he kind of hates Raiden now, and so but there's a lot that happens. So I don't want to spoil. You know, for people who are going to go through the story mode, it was actually really cool. A lot of people, when the game, some people got it early, and they were, you know, like putting up Twitch streams or things of the story mode. A lot of people were, you know, just doing this and saying, no, I want to play through it. I want to experience it. So I don't want to kind of give away stuff that would ruin anything.
So the answer is secrets.
Secrets. I could have said that whole spiel in one word.
Secrets. Now, one of the things that's really cool as a Twitch viewer when you're in the chat is when the featured guest acknowledges someone's name and says their name and answers their question. So grab one and make someone's day. It's going by so fast.
Please ask.
Are we in slow mode also? In the chat? We're not?
I think we are, actually. I'll ask you a bit more, but it's easier to
Okay.
Just grab one.
Cade Radar Shampoo, Pantene.
All right.
He's been asking that for the past half an hour, too. There you go.
Nice. Oh, man. So you've been...
Mr. Atwood, LC Stages. That's a possibility, but we haven't announced anything.
What is?
He asked DLC Atwood.
DLC Atwood?
Yeah. He said DLC stages. You know, we've actually wired the game so we can not only just download DLC characters, but DLC stages, DLC music, DLC, you know, like a whole bunch of different content.
All different types of content.
Exactly.
Pictures.
Exactly.
That is amazing. That's how the DLC of Jace Hall can actually make it in there as the character that just doesn't have any powers and just dies. That's all it does.
It's like
it's like different.
Street Fighter, the Dan character.
Yeah. It's literally that guy. Now you've been, you know, the game's coming out. You've been doing the promotional tour.
Yeah.
What do they got you doing? Like you're over here, you're out here on the West Coast.
Oh well, we have a thing tonight at the Xbox Lounge. There's a cool party event, stuff like that. We did the Fatal 8. Was awesome on Saturday, and then there's other stuff. We're going to some of the midnight openings and stuff like that. So yeah, we're excited.
Well, you're going to be a tired man.
Yeah. But it's exciting. Everybody's adrenaline's kind of going, and you know, like I said, when we first announced this game it was a little before E3 of last year. I was telling you, it feels like 5 years to me. It feels like we've been, you know, showing people, you know, glimpses of the game and developing the game and doing it for. It feels like 5 years, and I don't say that in a bad way. It just feels like forever that we've been, you know, kind of pushing the game.
Is there any chance that we can get you to play once against your boy here, and just I know you're gonna pretend. Well, here's
I just played against Conan O'Brien.
I know. Well, see, but here's the deal. The deal is, you get to act like you don't play this that much all the time.
Oh, how do you?
You just you get to do that, but just so that there's that moment where you're playing on the ultimate arcade machine, your ultimate game.
I'm definitely going to check out this machine. This is I've heard it's like a legend that I keep hearing about, you know, and I've never had the chance to check it out. So I'm definitely going to play it, but I don't know what I'm going to do on a stream. You have to get a lot of beers in here or something to do that.
You could.
We got Duralap over here in our pro gamer area that has a question for you.
He's bursting at the seams with a question.
Stand by. Here we go. Duralap coming in.
Ask Ed if there's going to be MK11.
All right, so Mr. Boon. So in Injustice, we saw Scorpion, you know, traverse between universes, and Scorpion was indeed involved in Injustice. Are we going to see some of the same things with Mortal Kombat? Or would we see a DC character come into this Mortal Kombat universe? And you know, whether it would or not, who would you like to see if that were the case?
The quick answer is probably not. The main reason is, you know, if anybody who signs up for a Mortal Kombat character, and again, Jace, I'm surprised you still said yes, but you get your face sliced off, you get your head cut off, you get cut in half, you get some really you get this done to you. Who wants that? Who wants to see that?
Oh, I do. That'd be so funny.
So we're not going to do that to Batman. We're not going to do that to Superman. So it's easier for a Mortal Kombat character to visit Injustice than it is the opposite way around.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That is true.
Well, speaking of characters and who you like seeing in the game,
although Carl Weathers is going to.
Who is your favorite new character from Mortal Kombat?
Ferrator, probably. I just love the personality and the dynamic between the two, and you know, the way that they fight and all that stuff is really cool. So I love a bunch of them. You know, Devora's I think is going to be one of the most kind of beloved of the new characters.
Because she's OP, basically.
She's just cool.
You like her though. Yeah, there's the hint. Ed Boon likes Devora. So you should all get it, learn it now.
Yeah.
And then when the patch comes out, she'll be lowered back.
Before we lower her down in the patch.
I always think it's so funny that there's the fighting community always has this concept of tiers. They call it these tiered characters, and I always where they kind of try to imply that some characters are at a higher tier than others. Yeah. And I just always translate it to tier. Right? Like they start complaining, oh, you're using a higher tier than mine.
Yeah, you know what's funny is we get some of the pro guys in, and they play the game before we ship it, and we always ask them, you know, rank all the characters from top to bottom. The character that was ranked last when we were done was Aaron Black. and Sonic Fox won with Aaron Black.
Interesting.
On Saturday. So that goes to tell you what, the tiers. They're just all over the place. So.
Now again, the chat is scrolling by so fast it's hard to remember specific usernames, but a lot of people are asking about some of the missing characters from this game, like Smoke, Noob Saibot, and Striker.
Yeah.
Now, I know we're trying not to reveal any of the future plans, but is it at least possible that we might see these characters in MKX?
Yeah, it's certainly possible. Like I said, our game is wired to take, it's not.
You can put in anything.
Exactly, and we're certainly and that's the unfortunate negative to having new characters is you take somebody's slot away, and but thankfully with DLC there's always hope for additional characters, and but we also felt like it was time to introduce some new blood, and some of these Takeda and Kodokan and all this stuff. We're really excited to see what players do with those characters.
Look, they made the game so that they can download anything to it. So anything's possible there. The downside is there's only so many slots that exist within the game.
Yeah.
So then you get into this sort of attrition conversation where do we put this character in and take one out because the players can access it?
And if we have no new characters, you get a swell of people saying, oh, it's just all returning characters. Where are the new ones? As we were introducing new characters, I got so many tweets of, where are the returning characters? Now all of a sudden we're doing returning characters.
You can't win.
Where are the old ones?
One way or the
where
other.
are the new ones? Yeah, so.
You've triggered out a lot of love for all the new characters in the chat. Everybody's saying, I love Kodokan. Cassie is my favorite. We want Predator. I think everybody's excited for Predator.
Yeah, we can't wait to see it.
Will Blue Steel Sub-Zero be available for PC? Interesting.
Yeah, I can't imagine why not.
There you go.
I think we're gonna have the same DLCs for PC that we do for the console versions.
See, you got your answer.
Yeah.
And will Blue Steel be available at launch as well?
I believe so. Yes. Blue Steel is available.
So for everybody who is asking how to get Blue Steel, it should just be available in the in-game store.
Exactly. In the main menu, the center, like we call billboard, shows all the characters that are coming, the ones that are available now, and it also takes you directly to the store.
Are there any surprises planned that are non-obvious, where you just can't wait until that particular surprise comes out down the line? And there's no way people are going to know what it could be, but you're just like, you can't wait.
Yeah. It was funny. Like in MK9, we had we never announced fatalities, but the unfortunate reality is, when you send the game out to be tested and to be evaluated and all that, it's a nice curse, but it's a curse where somebody inevitably sees something, and then the nature of the internet, it just gets out, and so it's very difficult to hide something than it was back in MK2 days or MK1 days, where Reptile was this actual myth, and Ermac wasn't a character yet, and all that stuff like that. So
we got West Coast Jeff here again. He's one of our pro players here in the lounge. He has a question for you.
And was there a process of to determine like new characters, or the returning characters, like who'd you want to come in after MK9, like who'd you want to return?
Yeah, as far as new characters, we have a group of concept artists who just go crazy. They draw hundreds of character designs, and talk to each other, refine some, and we go, oh, this one with the little lady on his back is pretty cool. Work on that a little bit more. Or this Bug Girl one, we called her Bug Girl before she had the name Devora. This guy, one of our concept guys is named Marco, and he drew it, and I personally was like, that is a cool character. She was cloaked and all that stuff, and so we were like, this is cool. Keep refining that, and usually for the new characters, that's how they kind of get their life. And then the designers will kind of see them and go, can you give this one a gun or something like that? And they come up with really cool moves that are inspired by some of the visuals they have, or they'll plant this.
How many unborn Mortal Kombat characters are on the floor?
God.
They just didn't quite make it.
Like more than there are born ones.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what you guys should do is you guys should take all those images and create like a book.
Yeah, the cutting room
just
floor.
Yeah, just a cutting room floor, and then sell that.
That's a good idea.
Or even as wallpapers or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think you can make a ton of money just collecting that stuff.
Out.
Yeah.
That's
I always the other thing that I always wanted, which I don't think any game has ever done, I call it kill tweets. But basically, you pull off a maneuver in multiplayer. Pick your game, right? In Mortal Kombat, it's like a very special kind of fatality or something, right? And if you're able to do it, it actually will tweet. It'll tweet through your Twitter, something that only whatever, some sort of proven code or something, so everybody knows you just pulled that off.
Oh wow, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kill tweets.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, a few more questions from the chat. Shinko Hadouken asks, what time zone will the DLC release be available?
Oh man, that is a good question. I'll have to get back on that one. I'm not entirely sure because you're right. I mean, East Coast and West Coast is 3 hours, and UK it's 8 hours ahead of Chicago. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. Yeah. It looks like Dan the Man has asked if there will be a tag team mode or a 2v2 mode.
No, there currently is not, and that's one of the. It's interesting. We do a decent amount of like I don't know if you call them focus groups, but asking people, what feature did you like? And when we did for MK9, as much as people said, yeah, I loved the tag mode, it was cool. We said, did you play it much like that? Well, we tried it a couple of times, but we just went on there. So we may introduce it in like a future game or something like that. But at the moment, it wasn't on the top of people's list from MK9.
And then another one, I think Lionheart and. I'm forgetting the names again. People are starting to ask about stage fatalities. Does MKX have stage fatalities?
We currently do not, and people do love those. So I wouldn't, but like I said, the game is, the DLC opens the door to all of that content. So.
I have to say, I was talking to some of the EGP guys, and again, one of the most exciting things for the game to me is that the game has a long life after it's released. This isn't a game where you can just perfect it and be done. This is a game where you're going to get together with your friends, you're going to unlock new things, you're going to find new secrets, you're going to continue to play, and it sounds like you guys are prepared to grow with the game as well. Which is really exciting.
Exactly. It's kind of like, it's, again, I always make the analogy to basketball. It's kind of like, we made a court and, the basketball rim's this big, and so it might be more fun if it's just a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller or something like that. So we're constantly seeing guys like these guys here playing the game. We just want the game to be as fair as possible, as refined as possible. I think it's physically impossible to release a game and have it be perfect, done
right out of the gate.
Because there's no way. What everybody is going to do.
We're way past that ability. Because there's just too many possibilities now.
Especially with a fighting game. Especially with a competitive game.
And how good someone is, you can get really distorted data, just on an internal QA. There was a guy in the chat named Siren who asked, are you aware of the enormous MK following in the Caribbean? Or Caribbean?
No. And it's interesting. We've learned about, we're told in Russia, MK is bigger than Grand Theft Auto. It's bigger than.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's supposedly huge. Our executive producer is out there right now. Promoting the game now.
To the person who asked about the Caribbean, Ed would know about it, but he's afraid to go there because of all the pirates. I'm just saying that there's too many. That's why. So if you can clear up the Pirates of the Caribbean, he'll then show up. I'm just saying.
Which actually was a question that people were, I know, weird transition, but a lot of people were saying, have you ever thought about putting a pirate-themed character into the game?
Yeah. There that cutting room floor thing. There were a few pirates in there.
Oh man, you have literally money sitting on the floor with those images.
Really?
They can be half drawn, you just put a little story with each one, like the story of why I didn't make it or something, a little paragraph.
Yeah.
Done.
That would be cool. In an art book or something.
That'll pay for more expansions into the Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah. Pay for tournaments.
Okay.
It's the 14th past midnight in England. Why not playable yet?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Look, the reason it's not playable in England is because Ed actually has to go back to his office. There's a button he presses where it says release for each time zone. That's right. We have him here, so he can't hit the button.
Actually, I have an app, but I don't have my phone with me.
Yeah, he's just, you know, he'll get to it. He's going to get to it. Yeah, look, Pandemic said, I would love to see the concepts that didn't make it. Why is the cancel window so strict? That's an interesting question.
I don't know. What's your opinion, Carl?
The timing is different from the last game, so they just have to change their timing. It's not as strict, because at first I thought the same thing. I was like, no, the timing's just a little bit different.
All right,
he needs a mic.
I know, we'll get him one. We got a crazy question over here from a player named Crazy. So, Crazy, what is your crazy question?
Hey, it's been a while.
Hey, man.
So, my question is, when did you guys finally decide Tremor, it was his turn, finally, to be a playable character?
Finally.
God, if I had to guess, I'd say about 3 months ago, 3 months ago. It's pretty recent. We actually do, you know, people think that we actually do listen to, you know, Twitch streams and tweets and stuff like that. You know, as much as, you know, some people don't realize, you know, if you're, we get a ton of feedback, and if their one question doesn't get answered, why are you ignoring me?
Right,
like I mean,
because
a 1,000 will go by a day that I'd never seen, but I guess the bottom line is we saw a swell of feedback wanting Tremor, which was a bit of a mystery to me. But that was, I can honestly say that the reason Tremor is coming into the game is because of feedback.
Okay, well, he just gave you the politically correct answer. I'm going to tell you what really happened. For many years, Tremor's agent was just asking way too high of a price for him to appear in the game, and Ed's just not, you know, eventually Trevor brought it down, they agreed, and then they signed Tremor. He's in the game. That's it. He's on the team. We're miking up perfect.
There's so many questions coming through. It seems like a lot of them are revolving around the faction towers.
The faction
as far as leveling up, it's hard to catch what it is that people are talking about. But I know Mr. Lakalaka was asking that, and it looks like Kex Manen is asking about the differences between a level 50 and a level 20. But again, it scrolls by so fast. Do you want to give people just kind of a rough outline of what the towering system is within a faction?
Yes. Well, in general, this game, the Mortal Kombat 9 had this one huge tower called the Challenge Tower, and this game we're kind of breaking it up into a variety of towers. Kind of your standard arcade tower, but then we also have what we're calling living towers, and these are towers that just get new challenges every hour, every day, and what we call premier towers, which are kind of like a seasonal tower. You might get like a Valentine's Day tower, you might get a 4th of July tower, you might get something like that. And faction towers are all part of the whole metagame of, you know, when you go up a faction tower, you're basically the most direct way of helping your faction win. And when your faction wins, they have to defend themselves. So there's this other game where, you know, the other factions are adding blocks to the winning one's tower, and it's kind of like this competitive feedback thing. You really got to play it. It's a ride. It's really again. Can
a faction get so good that their tower just sits and no one can take them down, and that's it?
I guess if the members are dedicated enough, that is definitely a possibility. But there's certainly, when you've got everybody else gunning for you,
right.
You know, it's
like everybody in this room could form a tower, and then that'd be it. They would be.
But if you have like 150,000 people against them,
no, I bet on this room.
Speaking of this room, we have Wamo over here. For you, Ed.
Hello, Mr. Ed. From what we've seen of the story, it takes place over a really, really long period of time, and so far, like, people have been like really receptive to it, and they've been really, like, you know, happy, you know, with all the new characters. But when considering that concept, was there like a lot of, you know, like, debates whether or not you should take that risk? Because, you know, like, if you think about it, 25 years into the future with an established series is like a really huge risk.
Yeah, it is a huge risk, and the big thing we wanted to do with this game was introduce characters that were descendants of the existing Mortal Kombat characters, and in order for them to be old enough to participate. You're not going to have a 6-year-old playing. That's just not going to work. So we had to do that. But not all of the story takes place in the 25-year period. It's actually over the course of 25 years. And so,
so you take the players through it.
Exactly. So we will jump ahead, 10 years at a time or something like that. But you start off very soon after the events of Mortal Kombat 9. And then as you play the game, you go all the way through to the older stuff.
You age 25 years as you play the game.
As you play the game, exactly.
That's what happens.
25-year plan on the game. I like this. Oh, there's so much going on. People are asking about this stage. A lot of people have been saying that as the stage disappears. There we go. People have been saying that they love this stage in particular, starting to speculate on some of the elements that are in the background. Is there anything that you can tell us about this stage and the design?
Well, this is Quan Chi's library / House of Doom. This is where Quan Chi does all his kind of. We have these characters called revenants, all right. And so when somebody dies, they're reincarnated. Imagine Pet Sematary. Somebody comes back and they're just kind of screwed up and they're not quite themselves. That's really what a revenant is. And so you could see one kind of being formed in that
bubbly
lava, or no, not lava, tar type of things. And so it's all explained in the story, and there's a really dramatic scene with Johnny Cage in there that you're gonna see, people are gonna love. But yeah, that's kind of like the Quan Chi's where he does all his dastardly deeds.
The speculation was running very high on who it was that was being reincarnated there.
That's kind of like
it's Dr.
generic, generic guys. So you can, it's like one of those things that we've had in the pit in one of the older Mortal Kombats. We had a guy who was on fire, and it was like, oh, who's that? And we just, his name's Torch.
Yeah. Next thing you know, request for Torch to be a fighter in the game.
Exactly it. Yeah.
And it seems like Scorpion Lives and Mergen Freeman are asking about what made you guys include Predator and horror film characters in the game. What was the impetus of that?
The main motivation was Mortal Kombat 9 had Freddy Krueger as a guest character, and he was the most popular downloaded character. Injustice had Scorpion as a guest character, and he was the most popular. So people are really responding to guest characters. So we knew going into this game that we were going to do at least 2 of our characters. That's where Jason and Predator came from.
Right, and now the most popular downloadable character will be the Jace Hall beat me up character.
Right, it'll be the Jace Hall beat me up character, Predator, and then...
Yes, exactly. There we go.
Well, it seems like people are actually the most excited for Goro right now.
Goro.
Yeah, Goro's the for people who pre-ordered them, they get them free as a download.
Well, you can do 4 pimp slaps at the same time, right?
Yeah, he's got this punch walk thing, which everybody is seems to be into.
We have a question from the players again. We got CD Ages over here.
Way in the back. Speak up.
Speak up. Speak loud.
Yes, hi. One of my favorite features from like a past Mortal Kombat game was in MK Deception, which were the Harakiris.
Oh,
I really love those. Would like a future installment of MK ever bring them back, or you guys add them in this game as DLC?
A future installment might. The weird thing about a game that's been around for 20-some years is we've introduced so many puzzle combat and motor combat and harakiris and conquest mode and just all these kind of diversions, I would always call them. But obviously we can't include them in all.
Yeah.
But some things have come back, like MK9 brought back Babalities, and they had a break for a while there. So there's certainly a chance of seeing that.
I hope so, because Deception was like the only game that had them.
Yeah,
they were awesome.
Isn't it weird to say 20 years?
It is.
It's so weird. 20 years of Mortal Kombat. Like, really?
Weird. It's very weird, yeah.
It's just, to me, it was just like yesterday when the arcade machine showed up of Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I think one of the questions that I saw, again, sorry if I'm not remembering everybody's name, they're going by really, really fast. They were asking about Goro's fatalities and some of his moves. What happens when a Goro tries to rip the limbs off of another Goro in this game?
He just rips the top ones off.
Okay, there you go. It seemed like a good question.
That's a problem our animators had had to solve, and so I remember that one in particular. Yeah.
He just rips the top ones off. Obviously, Matt.
Also, it looks like the chat did some of our research for us. It looks like you guys are releasing Eastern Standard Time at midnight, 9 p.m. PDT. So
that would make sense.
Now you guys know it's only, I can't math, 5 hours away, 6 hours away, 5 hours away. It's about 5 hours away.
And I have a question. For say all of us we compete in ESL and the winners, do we get like faction points towards like a tournament win, like for future tournaments on like our gamer tags online? Is that even
I guess it depends on if you're using a profile or that, but I'd be surprised if you did. I'd be surprised if you did. It'd be cool though if you did.
Yeah.
I know there's a thing where some of the developers have like almost like verified accounts on is it PSN and Xbox?
Yeah, and I would have given mine away about 12 times today.
Yeah. And so if you beat them, you actually get a specific reward in the game for defeating someone from the team, which is cool.
Interesting.
Which is cool. Yeah.
Huh.
Acehood96 asks, will DLC characters have an ending?
Yes, they do. They all have endings that just like the regular characters. Yeah.
Exciting.
DRB asked, if the game is hours away, why are there so many streams on Twitch? Because it's popular, man. People are just like, you're an employee at a game store. Guess what you're doing? You crack it open, you're playing it yourself.
Yeah.
You're not waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice. It's a bad problem to have. The some people, they get the game. You gotta ship games, and basically when they arrive at retailers, some just can't.
You just rely on them to not.
Exactly.
And they're just like, nope.
It's like, nope,
taking it home
for sale. Exactly.
Yep.
So.
All right, so we got Durlap over here with another question for you, Ed.
Shout out to Todd Roy for holding down and not giving up. Mr. Boon, so you were speaking really highly about Mortal Kombat's rich legacy and speaking about how the story is going to progress. Now, aside from the games, and I apologize if this has been answered already, what other lore or what other mediums do you guys maybe intend on using to really flesh out the lore? I know like Final Fantasy has gone through movies with Final Fantasy VII. Street Fighter's obviously got their comic out. What could we possibly see with Mortal Kombat so that casual fans of the game as well as hardcore fans can get a better understanding of what's really going on with the Mortal Kombat universe and how can they get more backstory on these characters and where the story's going to go?
I guess we recently started a thing with our Injustice game where we're using comic books is a great medium, and so we started a Mortal Kombat comic as well. We had a series for the last game called The Legacy, which Legacy 1 and 2 with Kevin Tencheron directed, and we're still kind of looking into the possibility of doing something like that. So that's kind of like more episodic way of telling a story, and then of course the continuing stuff with the games and and maybe a Mortal Kombat film at some point.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Yeah. Everybody get to your Twitters right now.
Yep, and demand. You need to just start a Kickstarter fund for it and just say, and basically pre-sell tickets. Right? Right? You get $100 million. You're like, okay, we're gonna make the movie. All the tickets are sold.
Well, the Raiden02 asked, what's your favorite alternate costume from this game?
From this game, either Ninja Mime, Johnny Cage, or I like the Collective Scorpion. That's actually that turned out really great too. I like that because it was it was a guy who's just passionate about Mortal Kombat, drew it, put it up on the Collective, the website we have. And we loved it, so let's make a skin out of it.
Huge win for that guy.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it's just so cool to see someone else's interpretation on a character.
There's someone in the chat who's like dying. They're asking this over and over again. Will Chrome be DLC in the DLC?
I think I could safely say no.
He could safely say no.
I always hate like saying no, but no.
He's saying no, but I'm going to say possible secrets? Secret possibilities?
This time it's not secrets, it's possible
yeah,
secrets.
and not that we hate him or don't want to do it. But I barely know who Chrome is. You know, I've seen a number of people's illustrations on him, but I don't know his backstory or anything.
Oh, he works on motorcycle tailpipes.
Oh.
And sometimes on
That's who it's named
wheels.
after. All
yeah.
right, all right.
And he chromes them.
Hubcaps and stuff.
That's
like
it.
That. Yeah,
That's all. Will DLC characters have alternate costumes? And he spelled costumes with a K, so he gets a couple points just for that, just for doing that.
Yeah. Yes, and I suppose there's always a possibility of future DLC ones too. Because with each DLC, we're going to be giving away free additional
components.
Costumes.
Right, okay.
Costumes too. Yeah.
Now, guys, we've got a little bit less than 10 minutes remaining, so please be sure to get your questions in. We'll do our best to try and get them to series creator Ed Boon himself. I think the first one that I saw was, can you talk a little bit about what inspired some of the new characters for MKX? Where'd you guys draw inspiration from?
You know, it's. I think our entire team is just kind of, bunch of people who grew up with movies is probably our biggest influence. Movies and comic books. So there's always little hints of movie inspiration with some of the ones. Raiden, obviously, Big Trouble in Little China. Anybody who's seen that? Mortal Kombat. The first game was originally we wanted it to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme game. And so when that couldn't happen, Johnny Cage was born. And Liu Kang, Bruce Lee, Kano was actually inspired by the Terminator in some ways, because when his face was kind of shot back with in T2, so we're very inspired by a lot of movies and stuff like that. The Master Blaster character, Ferritor, like that. So there's a lot of that stuff going on.
Now, just because you brought it up, I have to ask. They actually made a Street Fighter, the movie, the game, that had Jean-Claude Van Damme in it.
Yeah,
was that a little bit of a sting to see that they finally got him in a game and it wasn't a Mortal Kombat one?
No, that game sucked.
I had to ask. It seems like there's a lot of love for Spawn as well. What are the chances that we might see the Todd McFarlane character come back?
He was definitely one of the characters that we, in our discussions about, who could
be like a
guest character. Spawn was one of them. I think, the Jason was inspired with Freddy, and Predator was from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that he was going to be in it.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, a lot of these questions were all around like licensing issues, right? Like.
Yeah, and those are part of the variables. I mean, somebody, why didn't you include this guy? It isn't always because we hate that character and we hate people who hate the character.
I'm very familiar with all the licensing aspects
a lot of
of
variables
it.
Involved,
Spawn would be a great character, but so I don't think that's part of the Warner Brothers library per se.
Yeah,
and
I saw an interview with Todd McFarlane where he said that he offered it to us, but I don't remember that conversation.
It'd be a conversation, you know. It wouldn't be as simple as him saying, "Here you go."
Right.
Yeah, do you know what you should put in? Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. I don't want to rip off Bugs Bunny's face.
That would generate news articles. Let me tell you.
Comes out.
Just stuffing.
It'd be fine.
That'd be funny. No, I mean, this game looks great. I mean, would you say this is the best Mortal Kombat ever?
I think time will tell that, but I think it's certainly.
Yeah, but what does Ed tell us?
It's certainly. I think it has a possibility of being. I think so for sure.
Now you mentioned this earlier on in the broadcast. This game has been worked on a lot.
Yeah.
And now that it's coming out, you don't feel right at this moment that fire drill of fixing stuff, so that means a lot of polish has gone into this. How do you feeling that now compared to in the past, 15 years ago, all those? Does that give you a sensation that you may have made the best Mortal Kombat ever, just on the basis of you got to that place where you were able to, not be on a fire drill?
God, I think you'd have to ask me in like 3 months. Like I said, all of us on our team, oddly, we only look at like what we feel we could have done better, or what's not working, or this and that. It's impossible to look at it. And sometimes we'll get somebody who hasn't seen the game playing it, and we see their enthusiasm and excitement and loving it, and there's a little bit of a reminder of, okay, we got this, kind of thing there.
No, that's true.
But it's really kind of tough to look at.
Well, yeah, because in development, all you see is the flaws.
Exactly.
Constantly.
Exactly.
Oh, I wish we could have done that. All the ideas that didn't make it
didn't
in.
Get into the game.
And you're like, but no one has any idea.
Exactly.
So they don't know what's missing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with about 3 minutes left in the stream, I have to ask, because everybody's been asking again as well, Easter eggs and hidden fights. Because we're kind of wrapping things down, is there anything cool that you can tell all of our viewers?
There are certainly hidden fights. In the factions, there are these events called invasions. And an invasion is kind of like, I always called it a blue light special. It's something like happens for a certain amount of time. And during invasions, sometimes when you're going up towers, just like in MK1, you'd fight reptiles just randomly. And there are these kind of hidden fights that you encounter only during invasion times of a faction. So that's going to be really cool too.
Awesome. Hidden fights.
Yeah. That's going
during
to be
the invasion
be
times.
Awesome.
There you guys go.
So there's secrets and Easter eggs. And you were the voice for Get Over Here, right? That was you?
You know what? I was, in the first game, I was the voice of, Liu Kang wins. That voice. I guess that was Shang Tsung. I was the Get Over Here guy. I was Liu Kang, the high fish stuff. And I was Kano when he went, ugh! He did this when on, and then in MK2, I was Jax. I was, gotcha! The voice there. And so I was a voice of a bunch of ones, and then we hired real talent.
No, the original Get Over Here.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I got to work on the next Mortal Kombat.
I'm still
rap.
Pissed. I'm still pissed that that he didn't do a rap for us.
I didn't know that they wanted another one.
I don't know how many people saw the rap. It was one of the coolest things that was done. I'll tweet it actually right after this. And there was a video with it, and it was some of the fastest, coolest edited graphics with the game, and why you didn't do one for this game?
I didn't know you wanted. I thought the one that I did. I thought you were like, okay, that's it.
That was awesome.
But
I mean,
to do another one, I'll have to improve.
Yeah.
I have to one up that last one, right?
Yeah, that's going to be tough to do.
And that's going to be a challenge.
I love that thing. Yeah. I'll definitely tweet that
that'd be great.
after this thing. Yeah, I love that.
I have one question before I guess we stop. Will there ever be a chance that we get to see some backstory on Shao Kahn, like how he became so powerful and rose to power? I know he's dead.
Oh, yeah. Maybe the comic will hit on it or something like that, like in a flashback.
Because I'm like, how did he just out of nowhere is like, I'm Shao Kahn and I rule Outworld?
Because he's Shao Kahn,
Dragon King or something. But then how did he get the power to do that? Because it seems like, he's the most powerful out of every boss ever.
There's some information with Melina and Kotal Khan, and that's kind of related to Shao Kahn. You'll see in the story, but something like that. Yeah.
Well, guys, with about 20 seconds left, Ed, we want to thank you so much for coming by and
showcasing
Mortal Kombat X.
Thanks for having me. This place is. I got to check out this
place.
Yes,
Ed. Thank you.
Everybody at home, definitely be sure to pick out the game. It comes out tomorrow. Get to your Targets, your Walmarts, your GameStops, wherever you want to go to pick it up. Again, thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the game. Pick up Mortal Kombat X. Take it easy.
We're out.
Twin Galaxies.